Okay, so now I want to talk about my social anxiety and being socially awkward. Um, it's always been that way. When I was younger, it was extreme. The only time that I would feel comfortable is if I guess you could say I had a wingman in life. Like I had a big personality around me. My brother, he was the first person that took on this role. Like he was very entertaining. Like everybody loved to listen to him, watch him and all of that. He had the jokes, he was creative, he just knew how to entertain people. And so that really helped me fly under the radar most of the time because people were so busy paying attention to him. And so I could just kind of sit there and, laugh at the jokes and all of that type of stuff. And so that really helped. Um, when I wasn't around him, like in school and stuff, God really blessed me with typically having another big personality around me. So I could kind of fly under the radar and just add to what they were doing. Yeah. And, just kind of listen to them. And if there was a crowd or whatever, I was kind of like, not the hype man, but like, I don't know. I would just kind of like chime in here and there and, yeah, just kind of add to whatever they were talking about a little bit. And so I flew under the radar. Now when I am entering a new situation all by my lonesome, yeah, I have social anxiety most times. Sometimes I don't though. And, instead of it shocking me, I just kind of embrace it and go with the flow and enjoy the fact that the social anxiety didn't creep up on me. Um, Me being socially awkward, I don't really get a lot of people's social cues. Um, and then that one, it's hard for me to explain because I do, but I don't. Um, so I guess I get some social cues, but then other social cues I just don't get. And or I'll get it like way, way later. Um, yeah. And it's made for a whole bunch of awkward situations, from my perspective and from other people's perspective. And yeah, it's just something that I've kind of learned to live with for the most part. But I'm starting to understand that I'm not the only person that feels this way. And for most of my life, it did feel like I was the only one that thought this way because I was always around big personalities. So their scope of life was different than mine. Which brings me to right before I had the biggest shutdown or meltdown and then shutdown of my life, which was in 2020. Um, I remember getting like super agitated because of how people were treating me. Sorry if you heard that. My phone was ringing, but yeah, I got super agitated because of the way people were treating me. And yeah, I don't know. It made me look at life and just my relationships and all of that stuff like just way different, like from a totally different perspective. But I remember like kind of I'll call it getting testy. I was getting testy and like putting out there like, I'm different. I think different. Like, I don't know why, like, I don't think like other people. And so that was basically like a quote of some of the stuff that I like what I was saying. And it seemed like everybody took that as me being arrogant or me thinking that I was better than people. When I figured out that's how they took it, like, it just broke my heart because it's like, no, I've never thought that I was better than anybody. Anybody. I feel like God has made us all to be individuals, and he made each and every last one of us. So who's to say who is better than the next person? So it's like, no, that's not what I meant by that. I feel like it's a hindrance that that's how I felt. I'm like kind of having a little flashback right now, but it's like I felt like it was a hindrance that I didn't think like everybody else, that I was different, because I just couldn't understand it. And it's like during this time, it just seemed like everybody was throwing it at me that I was different and I didn't fit in and I wasn't like this person. I wasn't like that person. And so it was me coming to my defense. Like, I know that I'm not like everybody else. I know I don't think like everybody else. That's how I meant it. And then to have to process, while processing that, having to process that the people I was telling this to was taking it like I thought I was better than them. That was a really, really hard one to wrap my mind around. And so when I was just, talking out loud in my room or wherever I was at to God and trying to figure out, like, why am I different? Why am I this way? How did I get to this point? What was my contribution to why these things are happening to me? And all these types of questions that I have for God. What I didn't realize is that I also had my phone near me, and the phone, it can pick up on what your conversations and stuff like that. So the next thing I know, on my social media feeds and stuff like that, I started getting a lot of videos talking about autism and Asperger's. And at first I didn't really click on them because I knew somewhat about autism, but I hadn't really heard Asperger's before. And so I'm like, I don't really know why this keeps popping up on my phone. And eventually I end up clicking on one, which made me click on the next, which had me searching them out, because I related to these videos more than I've related to anything in my life. Like, it, and maybe that's an exaggeration because it's not like I've never related to things in my life. But what I mean by this is that these videos, like, were in sync with all those questionable parts of me that I had no understanding of why I was that way. All those things. And there was a list of things, just so many different things about me that I just didn't understand, and nobody could ever explain it to me outside of like, oh, you need to shift your perspective, like you're just looking at things the wrong way, and all these other things. Like, it was never just like a direct answer of like, oh, this is why you do these things. And so it was an extreme eye opener. That car alarm going off to me is like a sign. To me, that's like a message that, yeah, I'm on point. Like, I literally felt understood somehow, or better yet, a better understanding of me by watching these videos. And I haven't really been that social since 2020. I definitely isolated. And so it'll be interesting me going out and trying to become more social now that I have a better understanding of who I am. But and I do apologize for that car alarm. It was going off for a smooth hot minute, so sorry about that. But it will be interesting to explore socializing now that I have somewhat of a better understanding of why I am the way that I am and why I do the things that I do. Because before I was still going at trying to be social, but just the way that people have taught me to be social, and still flying through straight awkward. But hey, what can I say? It's still all a part of me. I claim every bit of it. I'm just happy that I'm gaining this clarity to understand the parts of me that I've questioned the most my whole life. Honestly, I didn't even really take school seriously after elementary school because my mind was so focused on trying to figure out how to be social, how to interact with people, how to communicate, because I was super shy, so I was almost basically like a mute or a selective mute, unless I was with like close friends or family. Um, or that one big personality person that I would happen to be around. And I really honestly feel like God linked me up with a destiny helper, if you will. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Um, yeah, I'm kind of, I guess I'm done with this video. Alrighty. Well, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, depending on when you listen to this video. If you can relate, please do leave a comment, because yeah, I would really like to know if anybody else can relate to these types of symptoms and characteristics. And if you know someone that may be able to relate, don't be shy like I am. Uh, go ahead and share the video with them. It would be much appreciated. And if you think that it can help them to feel like someone can relate to them, or to help them gain clarity in their own lives, then why not help out? Okay, until next time. Bye.